Before he died, Audie Murphy revealed 9 stars who were secretly gay. He was America's most decorated combat soldier of World War II, a war hero who faced death countless times, killed 240 enemy soldiers, and earned every medal for valor his country could bestow, including the Medal of Honor. When Audie Murphy came to Hollywood, he brought with him not just his battlefield courage, but a profound understanding of human nature under pressure. Audie knew what it meant to live with secrets, revealed a former studio executive who worked closely with Murphy in the 1950s. He carried the trauma of war his entire life. That experience gave him a unique empathy for others forced to hide their true selves, including some of Hollywood's biggest stars. According to those closest to him, Murphy developed an unusual bond with several actors and actresses who were living double lives during Hollywood's golden age. Stars whose public images as romantic leading men or glamorous leading ladies concealed their true sexual identities. Audie didn't gossip about these things, explained the former co-star. He just recognized the pain of people forced to pretend. Having lived through hell in Europe, he had little patience for the artificial morality of Hollywood that forced good people to live in fear. Tonight, we reveal the 9 Golden Age stars who Audie Murphy reportedly knew were gay or bisexual. Iconic figures who maintained carefully constructed heterosexual public images while living with the constant threat of career destruction if their true identities were exposed. When he left, I was 5'4". I never for a moment thought child's mentality. 1. Rock Hudson, Hollywood's heartthrob with a secret. Rock Hudson epitomized the masculine ideal of 1950s Hollywood. Tall, handsome, and romantically paired with America's sweethearts in film after film. His studio-crafted image as the ultimate ladies' man made him one of the industry's most bankable stars. According to multiple sources, Murphy was among the select few who knew the truth behind Hudson's carefully maintained facade. The most famous closeted star of the era, noted a former publicity agent who worked with both men. Murphy and Hudson shared agents, social circles, and military respect. Hudson had served in the Navy, which created a bond between them despite their very different personalities. Hudson's homosexuality was an open secret within certain Hollywood circles, but completely hidden from the general public. His studio, Universal, went to extraordinary lengths to protect their valuable property, even arranging a marriage to his agent's secretary, Phyllis Gates, to quash persistent rumors about his sexuality. Audie never judged him, but he also knew the mask rock war was breaking, recalled a mutual friend. Murphy could see the psychological toll of living such a profound lie. He recognized in Hudson's eyes the same haunted look he sometimes saw in his own mirror, the exhaustion of maintaining a false front. The 2 stars moved in overlapping social circles throughout the 1950s and early 1960s, and according to those close to Murphy, he developed a genuine respect for Hudson's professionalism and kindness toward crew members, qualities Murphy valued highly. At the same time, he reportedly recognized the profound unfairness of a system that forced Hudson to deny his authentic self. Murphy believed in honesty as a core virtue, explained a former co-star, not in a judgmental way, but as something essential to psychological health. He saw Hudson as a good man forced into dishonesty by a system that gave him no alternative if he wanted to maintain his career. When Hudson was diagnosed with AIDS in the 1980s, becoming the first major celebrity to publicly acknowledge having the disease, many Americans were shocked to learn of his homosexuality. Murphy, who had died in a plane crash in 1971, wasn't alive to see Hudson's secret finally revealed. According to those who knew both men, Murphy would have admired Hudson's eventual openness, while lamenting that it came only when the actor was facing death. What's the who is he? He is Mr. Hoskins. 2. Cary Grant, the ultimate leading man's private life. Cary Grant defined sophisticated masculinity for generations of moviegoers. His charm, wit, and seemingly effortless elegance made him the standard against which all other leading men were measured. Behind this perfect public image, according to Murphy's private observations, lay a more complex reality that included a lengthy domestic partnership with fellow actor Randolph Scott. Lived with Randolph Scott for over a decade, said a former production assistant who claimed knowledge of Murphy's awareness of the arrangement. Murphy allegedly told a friend they weren't just roommates. They were the only honest thing in that house. Grant and Scott shared a home on and off for nearly 12 years, a living situation that generated gossip within Hollywood, but was presented to the public as an economical bachelor arrangement. The studio system worked diligently to craft alternate narratives, including heavily publicized relationships with women, and eventually a series of marriages for both men. He said Grant played straight better than anyone on screen and off, recalled a director who worked with both Grant and Murphy. Audie recognized in Grant a fellow performer, someone who had created a character so convincing that the line between performance and reality had blurred even for Grant himself. What reportedly impressed Murphy about Grant was not just his ability to maintain his public image, but his creation of a private space where he could be authentic, at least for a time. The home Grant shared with Scott allegedly represented a rare zone of truth in an industry built on carefully constructed illusions. According to those close to Murphy, he viewed Grant's situation with a mixture of respect for the actor's navigation of an impossible situation and sadness at the necessity of such elaborate deception. Murphy reportedly recognized in Grant's carefully managed life a reflection of the larger hypocrisy of an entertainment system that sold romantic fantasies while denying performers the right to authentic personal lives. Murphy understood performance as both professional skill and survival mechanism, explained a former agent who knew both men. He'd seen how quickly a mask could become a prison, and he recognized in Grant someone who had essentially been forced to live inside a character of his own creation. Grant's sexuality remains a subject of debate among historians, with some arguing he was bisexual rather than exclusively gay. Whatever the complete truth, Murphy allegedly recognized in Grant someone whose public persona required careful management and significant personal sacrifice, a situation he understood all too well from his own experience of presenting a heroic face while battling private demons. Or an elevator, they usually come towards me rather than say, "Oh, there's Norman Bates." They usually say, "Oh, let's tell him our psycho stories." But when, 3 Anthony Perkins, the tortured talent, Anthony Perkins created one of cinema's most iconic characters as the disturbed Norman Bates in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. His performance captured a man torn apart by conflicting identities and desires, a role that, according to Murphy's private observations, reflected aspects of Perkins' off-screen struggles with his sexual orientation. Known for tortured duality, dated Tab Hunter secretly for years, revealed a former casting director who knew all three men. Audie once worked with a screenwriter who claimed Tony was the saddest man I ever met because he couldn't be himself. Perkins' homosexuality remained largely hidden from the public throughout his career, though he had relationships with several men, including a significant romance with actor Tab Hunter. Like many gay performers of his era, Perkins eventually married a woman, photographer Barry Berenson, and fathered 2 sons, maintaining a public image that conformed to studio and societal expectations. Audie respected pain, and he knew Tony carried it everywhere, said a mutual friend. Murphy recognized in Perkins someone whose authentic self had been so thoroughly suppressed that it created a kind of constant internal tension visible in his performances but carefully hidden in public appearances. What particularly struck Murphy about Perkins, according to those who knew both men, was the psychological cost of this sustained deception. Unlike some stars who seemed to compartmentalize their public and private lives effectively, Perkins appeared to internalize the conflict, creating a visible strain that informed his most powerful performances while taking a significant personal toll. Murphy believed that carrying secrets eventually poisoned something essential in a person, explained the fellow actor. He'd seen it in combat veterans who couldn't speak about their experiences, and he recognized a similar burden in Perkins, the exhaustion of maintaining a fundamental deception about one's identity. Perkins's struggle remained largely private until after his death from AIDS-related pneumonia in 1992. In subsequent years, his widow, Barry Berenson, spoke about his bisexuality with remarkable grace and understanding, suggesting their marriage had contained genuine love despite its complex foundations. For Murphy, who died more than 2 decades before Perkins, the actor reportedly represented a particularly poignant example of Hollywood's human cost. Genuine talent shaped and sometimes distorted by the need to conform to artificial standards of identity and behavior, usually during the 4 or 5, and I usually use those for sleep. It's an incredibly heavy workload for this. It's almost an impossible workload. Well, how long were for Raymond Burr, the stalwart with secrets? Raymond Burr became one of television's most beloved,